So we're continuing our series on heart health, and this time we're talking about how to modify our risk factors. The last videos we talked about how common is heart disease and what are the risk factors for heart disease, particularly in women. Now, a lot of those affect men as well, but there were a couple specific to women. And today we're going to talk about how to modify your risk for heart disease. Okay, I like this one because it actually has to do with the things that we can do to change what happens to us, all right? We don't just have to be passive riders in our body and accept whatever happens. We can actually do things to change it, okay? So you have to know what your risk factors are, first of all. So if you haven't watched the second video, go back and watch that one to figure out what your risk factors are, and then we can go on to figure out how do we modify those, okay? So once you know your risk factors, you can start changing things to affect those risk factors. So the first thing that everybody needs to do is quit smoking, okay? If you smoke, quit smoking. Enough said. I'm not going to go into that. Everybody knows it's not healthy. Number two, improve nutrition. Okay, you cannot build a beautiful looking castle with stuff that you picked up off the street, okay? You gotta get good materials to build a good body. You gotta have good, healthy nutrition coming in, fresh vegetables, fresh fruits every single day in order to be able to build new cells and also repair damage done to cells over the course of the day. I know that during a regular day of mine, there's a lot of stress. People that are demanding things and meetings, and this thing is going wrong, and this person didn't show up, and this thing's happening, and this person did this behind somebody's back, and there's all kinds of things going on, and God only knows what kind of damage that's doing to the body all the time. So we have to make sure that we're eating in order to be able to reduce the damage or repair that damage that's being done to us outside of our control every single day. All right, so getting your vegetables in, getting your fruits in, getting in foods that are rich in omega-3 fats, that's kind of like the fish oil, okay, so nuts and seeds and some of the healthier oils, fish, those are all sources of healthy omega-3s. One source of omega-3s that most people don't think about is actually beef and chicken. Those actually can have a considerable amount of omega-3s if they are raised in the right way. So animals that are free range, which means that they're free to roam around and eat the stuff that those animals naturally eat, like cows like to eat grass, right? And chickens, they run around pecking at grass and bugs and whatever other things that they can scavenge off the ground. So if they eat those natural things in the environment, they actually have a higher amount of omega-3s, the healthier fats, compared to the unhealthy fats that they carry around, which means that they actually can be healthier foods for us. Versus the farm-raised animals that are fed grain and corn and so forth, those have a much lower overall omega-3s compared to the other fats, and their overall saturated fat content is much higher. So they put you at a little bit higher risk for disease. So we want to eat healthier, we want to eat vegetables, fruits, get those fresh meats, and then we need to stop processed foods. Anything that comes in a package, a box, or through a window, as I tell everybody, those are the things that are designed to make you addicted to food, to make you eat over and over again. They overprocess the food, which means that things are taking the nutrition out of it, and they just leave all the bad stuff. And oftentimes these things are very highly heat treated, and it damages the sugars and the proteins there, which makes them really unhealthy for your body. Okay, so we want to stay away from those things. All right, we want to get in healthier things. And that brings up, when you're cooking things at home, you want to also make sure that the way you cook things is a little bit healthier. Okay, so lower temperatures, not as high temperatures. You don't want over caramelization of things. Things, when they caramelize, they actually turn into bad things and things that can cause cancer and put you at higher risk for heart disease. I'm not saying don't caramelize things, I'm just saying reduce the amount, don't overcook things, okay, to the point that it's over caramelized. All right, and then make sure that there's a lot of moisture in the food. Once you start getting rid of that moisture, more damage happens to the food, and then it does damage to your body. So moisture foods, lower temperatures, and don't over caramelize. All right, stop sugary drinks. All right, we talked about the risk of that it's a major risk factor for heart disease. Having one sugary soda per day puts you at 20% higher risk for heart disease in women, and an artificial sweetened soda, one per day, puts you at risk for 30% chance of higher risk of heart disease in women. All right, so get rid of the artificial sweetener, get rid of those sugary beverages. Just, if you need something to drink, water is great. You could have sugar-free, black coffee, black tea. You can use a small amount of natural sweetener like honey, but even that, you want to make sure that you reduce as much as possible. Make yourself more sensitive to that taste over time by reducing the amount gradually, and that way when you go to drink it, even small amounts will give you the same sensation you're having now with 4 or 5 packets of the other sweetener. All right, now we talked about some of the other risk factors, things like family history of heart disease and your age. Well, how can you modify those? Or those seems like things that you can't change at all. All right, well, here's the caveat to that. One of the reasons that family history puts you at risk is not only because of the genes that you've inherited, but also a lot of the behaviors that you've inherited. So if you start making the behaviors in your family be healthier, and everybody in the family is doing healthier things, it actually modifies your family history risk. Okay, if everybody in the family's risk goes down and nobody ends up getting heart disease, well, you've just eliminated a risk factor from your family. Okay, and if you do it well, then you may eliminate that risk factor permanently if you develop that as a culture in your family. All right. The other idea, what about age? You can't modify your age. Sure you can. Okay, there's a difference between chronological age and biological age. How is your body inside? Okay, not how old you are by dates, but how have you damaged your body? How have you maintained your body? Are you doing the things that keep your body young and healthy, like exercising, eating healthy, avoiding smoking, not drinking too much, getting plenty of sunshine without burning? All the things that keep you young and fit. Are you doing those things to keep your biological age lower as you advance in chronological age? Okay, so you can modify even those things that seem like they're not modifiable. Okay, so you can see there's a lot of impact. Now, one of the things I want to mention also is exercise. Exercise is extremely important. In and of itself, it modifies your risk factor. But I'm going to add a little twist to that. If you exercise in the sun, it's going to do even more for you for several reasons. Number one, you get vitamin D when you're out in the sun, and that seems to also be linked with the risk of heart disease. And number two, now we know one of the main things, you might have heard of people popping the nitroglycerin pills under their tongue when they have chest pain, okay, to help dilate their blood vessels and reduce that angina pain, that pressure pain that they're having when they're having a heart attack, or they're having, the blockage, partial blockage in the vessels, or not enough blood flow to their heart. Okay, that nitroglycerin, we naturally make our own version of that in our body called nitric oxide, NO. Nitric oxide is stored in our skin, but only gets activated when we're out in the sun, exposed to UV rays. Okay, and it's not the same. It's the ones that we call the bad UV. Those are the ones that actually activate that, so it can help reduce your blood pressure and reduce your risk for heart disease. So, hope those tips helped. If you like those, please share them, like the video, and check out Silence Your Fat Gene to check out .com to check out my new book, Silence Your Fat Gene, to help with more tips that can help your health and your weight loss. Hope to see you at the next video.